Hey guys, this is Tim Melvin of the Melvin Deep Value Report and the Banking on Profit newsletter, coming to you from down here in what it can only be described as a balmy Central Florida. We've been flirting with heat records all week, been up around 85 degrees. And I've noticed that it's been really warm across much of the country this year thanks to El Nino, which is really just ruining things for me because this is the time of year where I like to send the Florida weather forecast to all my friends up north and upset them. And frankly, they just don't seem to have much to be upset about so far this year. Hopefully that changes as we move into 2016. Got to get my kicks where I can take them. Anyway, Christmas is, of course, Friday, and the madness has started around here, as I'm sure it has at your house. We have the out-of-town guests start arriving tomorrow night. Today's been all about grocery shopping and liquor running and getting everything ready for the big Christmas party we're having on Saturday. We do a little open house thing every year. Fortunately, we don't have to worry too much about the last-minute shopping stuff because we did away a few years ago with adults giving gifts to adults. We just kind of decided that was stupid. We all have pretty decent careers. If we saw something during the course of the year that we want, we probably bought it already. If we saw something we thought, one of the kids would like or that Aaron would like, we've already bought it. So there's no need to run around doing this last-minute crazy Christmas shopping. And we certainly don't do the buy gifts for friends and relatives and acquaintances we don't even like that much. So shopping was a little easier, but getting all the food prep and everything, it's a little nuts around here this week, as I'm sure it is at your house if you celebrate the holiday. So let's see what else is going on. Oh, we had a big night here last night. It was really cool. We live about 45 miles from Cape Canaveral. It was a really clear night. So when SpaceX launched the Falcon X, we could actually see it from over here on the west side of Orlando. It was very cool to watch. You can only see it for 10 to 15 minutes, but it's actually an enormous light in the eastern sky, and you can see the rocket rising and then eventually exiting into space. Very cool event. If you ever get a chance and are close enough to one of these launches, I highly recommend you find a nice spot and watch it. Very cool to watch. So anyway, that's really about all we have going on. This is going to be my last communication this week, unless something enormous or big happens, because this is the one week of the year where I really kind of just step back and try to relax when we have Christmas coming up. And of course, the family and friends are going to be here, lots of prep work to do, and there's really not much going to happen in the market. So even though my boss is usually a taskmaster, making me work 6 to 7 days a week the rest of the year, I talked myself into giving myself most of the week off. I'll be around. I'll be checking email. I'll certainly be monitoring the markets, but we won't be doing, the Thursday letter or the updates and buy lists this weekend. We don't do much with New Year's. Don't like being out and about when there's a bunch of amateur drunks on the road, coupled in with the usual professional ones. It's just not a great time of year for us to be out. We'll hang out at home, maybe watch a movie or two, but it'll be business as usual. So we'll be right back to it Monday on a normal schedule for next week. Now, I got up this morning, I came in, and of course I did an article on Real Money the other day about how all the brokerages and, analysts, M&A attorneys, the bankers, everybody was talking about the trade of the decade, basically, that the bank consolidation wave is really going to pick up next week. Now, this morning I came in, I found a tweet from BankThink, which is a blog run by the American Banker, and there are a couple quotes on it, and I feel like I have to share them with you. This just sets the tone for 2016. Now, this is from Mark Olson. He's chairman of a company called Treliant Risk Advisors, and he's a former Federal Reserve Board governor. Here's what he has to say about community banks in 2016. With total bank capital at the highest level in many years and bank earnings continuing to recover, I predict that there will be in excess of 400 unassisted bank mergers in 2016. This will be the highest total of mergers since 2000. Okay, now we come down to Richard Parsons, and he was a former executive at Bank of America, and he wrote a book called Broke, America's Banking System. And he says in at least one quarter of 2016, and quite possibly the entire year, the industry will see for the first time the number of bank charters shrink on an annualized basis by more than 6%, right around 7,000 banks, maybe a little bit less than that left in the country. So he's flirting around that 400 takeover number as well, apparently. As a result, investor interest in the banking sector, and most specifically in smaller regionals and larger community banks, will spike to levels not seen since well before the financial crisis. Here's what that means for us, folks. We own in Banking on Profits a bunch of small regional and community banks. We've bought them all well below book value. Most of them have an activist or bank specialist involved. They have sound loan portfolios and plenty of capital on the balance sheet. They're well-financed, sound financial institutions. Most of them have less than $1 billion in assets and are going to be actively searching for a merger partner during 2016. We have a couple other banks on there that are over the million, between that $1 and $1 billion mark, between the $1 and $3 billion mark. And we expect them to either get bought or they may acquire their way into that $3 to $5 billion in total assets that is the banking industry sweet spot right now. You're over the $1 billion mark. You've got enough scale to survive and deal with regulatory and technology costs, but you're nowhere near the $10 billion mark, where the extra regulations of the Consumer Finance Protection Board and the Durbin Amendment kick in, limiting the fees that you can charge. So that's really the sweet spot. You've got a long ramp. You can make a lot of acquisitions. You can grow the bank. So some of our billion-dollar banks, billion-plus banks, will make it into the sweet spot and become wildly profitable, growing institutions. And some of them will get bought by somebody else that's trying to make their way to the sweet spot. That's a win either way for us. 2016 is shaping up to be a huge year for Banking on Profits. And not to say we had a bad year this year. We're up almost 18%. I think we'll close the year a little bit over that. We've had 8 takeovers. We have no stocks, none that are down for the year. It's been a good year. I think next year's actually going to be better. Now, if Mr. Parsons is right, now think about this. Takeovers aside, if we start to get more investor and institutional interest in the regional and community banks, and they're starting to pile into the trade of the decade, the small sector guys, think about all that money coming into the sector and what's going to happen to these stocks. Even without a takeover offer, they're going to make their way a lot higher in 2016 than they are here as we approach the end of 2015. We had a great year. I mean, the market's down. We're up almost 18. We have no losing stocks. It's been a very smooth, low volatility ride during much of the year. We have insider buying going on in our stocks. We've got stocks buying back stock, raising dividends. Just everything's going right, and it's going to get even better next year. So now, if you're not already a subscriber, look, we have an offer on the board right now, okay, where if you buy Deep Value, you get Banking on Profit monthly for a year for free. That's going to last through the end of the month. We're putting another one together. I'll have the email out to all you guys probably tomorrow. We'll certainly promote it on Twitter and Facebook and all those fun places. And they had to talk me into this one because I wasn't a fan of doing this, but I'll go ahead. But why not? It's Christmas, right? So the regular Banking on Profit portfolio service with the regular weekly updates, unless all of the kids are in town where it's Christmas, regular email access to me, the guided portfolio with buy and sell alerts. You get Banking on Profits monthly as part of this subscription service. It's normally $1,000. I think I'm low at $1,000. I've been told that I'm not charging enough by several other folks in the industry, but $1,000 is where we have it. 1 week, basically, from tomorrow until New Year's Eve. I'm going to offer it at 20%, 21% off, actually, if we want to be, well, it's 20.1, I guess, $799 for a full year of Banking on Profits in what could be the biggest and best year for community bank stocks since the early part of this century. Now, if you think that's a huge statement, because community bank stocks on their own have been compounding at north of 15% for the last several years. I think we're going to blow that number out of the water next year. We see institutional money getting interested in the space. That's pushing stock prices higher, and that's 400 mergers is almost double the number of mergers that we had so far this year. It's going to be a fantastic year. You've got 2 offers on the table, okay? One, Banking on Profits portfolio service for just $799. That's a bargain. One takeover and you've paid for it for several years. And then Deep Value plus Banking on Profits monthly gives you the stuff you need, the tools you need to find community bank stocks worth investing in, plus access to the Deep Value newsletter, which I have to tell you, the way we're positioned there, I like it. We've got a lot of cash. We've got a couple banks. We've got some smaller REITs. Probably going to add at least one REIT that's caught my eye before the end of the year. all trading at discounts to book value. We've got about 5 net stocks in the portfolio, tons of cash, and of course selected energy names. So if oil prices go higher, Deep Value is just going to have an enormous year next year, just like the community banks. We're real excited. We've got 2 offers on the table. Take one, take both, whatever you think is best. If you want to do all 3, email me through MarketFi, and I'll put together a special offer for you to get access to everything for one price. We're working out with customer service guys. So anyway, that's kind of where we are today. I'm cooking Christmas Eve dinner this year and doing a lot of prep work for the party, so it's going to be a very busy week for me. If you email me, I will find the time to get back to you if something comes up. If there's a merger or a deal or something so significant that I feel like I have to jump on and talk about it, well, I'll be around and I will do that. But if not, I'm going to take basically the rest of the week off and enjoy the holiday week, and I hope that you do the same. Now, if you're a recreational reader like I am, one last little tidbit, just to increase your fun level, Lawrence James has written a ton of books, all based in Key West over the years. They're all hysterically funny, well written, great stories, laugh out loud funny. And he's got a new one that just came out a couple weeks ago called Key West Lucky. I'm about halfway through it, and I absolutely recommend that if you just want to do some relaxing reading, maybe laugh a little bit, that's the book for you. Anyway, that's all for me. Happy holidays to everybody. I will be back next Monday, but please have a great week and enjoy this holiday season. Thanks a lot.